Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. Not a lot of preamble to go through, 6 albums to go through though, so I'm going to go through them as quickly as I can manage. We begin with Aluminium and their new album Fully Beat. This is sort of a indie, noisy, rocky sort of thing with some posty elements, and I thought it was pretty decent. I'm giving it a B-. I did like most of the riff work, and I think that there's some really good experimentation with that riff work, much like an album I'll be getting to a bit later. And I do like the band chemistry. The band has two vocalists, a male and female one. The female one is much better, in my opinion. She actually puts a bit of charisma into her voice. The male one just sort of, he just sort of sings. He doesn't really put a lot of effort into it. But, the female singer is carrying the band. I don't hate the production either. I think it's a bit loud in places, and it makes certain parts louder than they actually have to be. The pacing can drag as well, and it doesn't really mix it up a whole lot, which is weird because, again, there is like that sort of experimental lilt on occasion. And the lyrics are, I'm sure there's interesting themes here, but like if they're not repetitive phrases, then they're just really stupid and don't make sense. Like, I don't know what half the words I was reading was, because they're all available on the Bandcamp page. I just couldn't really make heads or tails of it for the most part. But it's a very stylistic album, I guess I would say. It's got some good stuff going for it. And I still recommend giving it a try, especially because I think this is a debut. And, again, the benefit of the doubt does rest heavily with that. But yeah, I felt like there was a couple of steps they could have taken. Hopefully they're well by the time they do the next one. Next is Billie Eilish with her new album Hit Me Hard and Soft. This is her third album and my second one. Again, I don't really keep track of that stuff, but I thought people should know. And giving this one the highest grade, which is an A+. And yeah, I really loved it. It was just a really nicely put together, very experimental and daring and risk-taking pop. Probably from the two albums I've heard by Billie, probably the riskiest one she's ever taken, with her signature dark and very deep songwriting, mostly revolving around the concept of a relationship and love and the different aspects of it, and also her perception in the media, especially over the last couple of years, since she dropped Happier Than Ever back in 2021. It's been a hell of a journey to just watch how she develops and grows as a songwriter and as a person as well, and is even more concerning because she's not even 23 until this December. It irks me a little bit how talented she is and how fucking good she is at writing, and she even pushes her vocal boundaries a lot. There's some more rapped verses here and there. There's some really good high parts from her. She's still got a signature very low dulcet tone. The production is great. Her brother Phineas absolutely knocked it out the park. The production's probably my favourite part about the album. The structuring is really, really goddamn good too. I don't really have a lot of complaints. I did want Billie to on occasion lean into the weirder aspects of the sound. I do feel like that's a step she didn't fully take here. But for what it was, being a commercially successful and just really good, successful and just really fucking good pop album, that's also not really traditional in any of its ways. With a great performance, really good lyrics, solid pop, mixing and beats. Yeah, no, I can totally highly recommend this one. Really good stuff. Next we have Blushing with their new album Sugarcoat. This is not a band I know a whole lot about. I think this is only their third album. This is a shoegazy sort of indie pop rockish sort of thing, mostly leaning on the favourite shoegaze. I can give this one a B+. I really, really like this one. It was just a very pleasant sound on the ears. It's not a very long album either, I don't think. I think it might have been the shortest one I covered from last week. And just very, very solidly handled. There's also a surprisingly unique theme of trying to accept past mistakes and learn from them. The problem with that is that last year Currents did the same thing with their album The Death We Seek, and they realised it a lot better. I feel like Blushing didn't really take that extra step, not because they're not a metalcore band, but because I just feel like it was right there and they didn't go for it. But charming performances, really good songwriting for the most part, loved how layered and textured the production was, good thing of broader performances as well, but yeah, really good performances, and the album does get a B+. I'm just putting that out there now in case I haven't already. Yeah, mostly just really fucking good stuff. Love the riff work too. Next we have Moth the Flames with their new album The Cycles of Trying to Cope. This is a band I'd heard about for a long, long time, and I'd never done an album by them, never covered an album by them. And this one gets the other A+ of the episode, which surprises me because when I first heard it, I wasn't that impressed by it. I just thought it was a really good metalcore album. I was thinking, yeah, B plus, you know. I feel like it's earned that. But then I had chances to sit with it a couple more times, and I fully got the dynamic instrumentation of it, which added a lot to the pacing. Although my one criticism against that is that the Depths I Roam should have been the last song. I do like What Do We See When We go. I forget the name of the closing title, the closing song, but like, oh, it should have been the Depths I Roam. I'm sorry, but the album does carry a unique concept, focusing on grief and depression and anxiety in different stages of like trying to learn to deal with it. And lead singer Chris Roach absolutely goes balls to the wall with the screaming on this one. He just hits those really important parts when it matters, sort of like Jonathan Vigil did on the Ghost Inside self-titled back in 2020. This album had a lot of those vibes. Not really as much Triumph. This album is definitely way darker, and oh my god, like reading through the lyrics and going over the themes and the main concept, I just felt bad for Chris. I just wanted to give him a massive hug after this was all over. But he puts in a stellar performance, as do the rest of the band. Production's really good too, handled by Carson Slovak and Grant McFarland. They're a great metalcore production duo. I'm glad that they worked on this one. They've worked with August Burns Red before, so you know their shit's good. Yeah, good lyrical theme. Not really many complaints. I would have switched over the last two songs in order personally, but that's just me complaining a tiny bit about what is ultimately a fucking great metalcore album, and a potential top 30 maker along with Billie Eilish is one for me. Next we have Low Hum with his new album Terra Incognita. I did not know this was a one-person project until I started reviewing it earlier today. But this is also like Aluminium's new album, a album that is like post-punk more, but with like, again, the Indian noise references, and sort of has the same problems that Aluminium's one did. I'm giving it a B-, by the way. It's got solid writing to it, and I do think the titular Low Hum, whose real name is Colin Desher, it's something like that, does a really good job instrumentally and with the production, but we don't even get to hear him sing. I mean, he does sing, but like the production just drowns out his vocals and focuses more on the instrumentation. And I'm pretty sure there is a solid theme somewhere. I couldn't fucking tell you. It's very difficult to pick up on. There is like some stuff about loss and like, you know, his relationship with his hometown, I think, were the main themes, but like, you couldn't bloody tell. You definitely can't really hear it cohesively. But you know, again, I like the riffs, I like the experimentation, and I am a big fan of a one-man auteur sort of thing, especially one that does literally everything and does so much. I feel like he may have overworked himself a little bit too much with this one. But still, I think it's a really solid. I think it's pretty damn solid. I still recommend you give it a try. I just wish that he reined it in a little bit on occasion. And finally, we have Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats with their new album, Nell or a Blue. I have no clue if I said that correctly. I'm giving this one the lowest grade, which is a C+, and I feel like I'm being a bit generous. So I've seen a lot of people really hype this album up, and I don't get why. It's pretty decent stoner-leaning metal with some nice doom and psychedelic and traditional heavy influences, you know. I don't mind that. What I do mind is that this fucking album has 19 songs, it's an hour and 18 minutes, and it feels like the background music to an Italian giallo crime horror film. And it does fucking nothing for the most part. My voice went really high there. It just doesn't do anything with its concept, which is weird because it's a very interesting concept. Giallo horror is a recent discovery for me, but like knowing what it is and what it's about, it's very like dangerous and sexy, and this album isn't. There's only like 2 songs on the album that could classify as actual songs. There's no actual lyrical theme, and any words you usually hear are in Italian, and guess what? It's spoken dialogue, and also guess what? I don't speak Italian, and also guess what? There's no fucking subtitles or translation for it. So that doesn't help me. It's I don't fully hate it. I do appreciate the ambition. I like the instrumentation for the most part, and I do think the band does a good job, obviously. I don't even hate the production, I think it's produced quite well. But it did not need to be this long, and it did not need to be... It needed actual words, it needed a story. If you're going to make a fucking concept album, right, do what Creeper did last year with their concept album. That was fucking incredible. I can't remember the name of it and I feel bad. but like Sanguivore, that's what it's called, Sanguivore. Yeah, Creepers Sanguivore is a good example of how to do a great concept album that could feel like a movie soundtrack. This is just a glorified movie soundtrack, and I don't like it. It's why I don't do OSTs a whole lot, because they're usually just this. Bleh. And that'll about do it with the bleh. I'll do the official ranking system everyone cares about. So at the bottom is Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats with no Laura Blue. Then, between the next two is kind of tough. I'd have to go with Aluminium with Fully Beat, and then Lohum with Terra Incognita, then Blushing with Sugarcoat, then Like Monster Flames with The Cycles Trying to Cope, and Billie Eilish with Hit Me Hard and Soft at the top. But you could switch those two around in any which way, because there's only two ways that they could go. And I wouldn't disagree with you. And as for favourite other things, favourite album cover goes to Blushing Sugarcoats. I was going to go to Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats one because I do like a good movie poster looking thing, but like, there's just something about the design and the colourfulness of Sugarcoat that I just really like, so I'm giving it to that. And favourite song goes to The Greatest from Billie Eilish's album Hit Me Hard and Soft. Love it. It's a really, really good pivotal turning point in the concept of the album it's into. It's the most experimental track on the album as well, and it goes to a lot of interesting places, and her vocal performance on it is so good. That'll about do it from me. The next thing you'll see me for will be tomorrow, the go-home show for PBW versus AVW. Go-home show for Heat of the Moment, which is going to be next week. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I just need to actually make the card, which I didn't get time to do last night because the fucking internet on my laptop shafted me. That's neither here nor there. I'll see you all tomorrow for that, and not much else. I might do a reaction, I don't bloody know. I probably should, it's been a while. But I'll see you tomorrow for something, and as always, thank you for watching, you're awesome. Bye bye.